Mourning the death of Taboo 2's Kay Parker. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but to get on. Mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian. I'm a leading man in the 60s. Oh, I happen to be gay.
True.
All right, so we'll talk to Fisher Stevens. Short circuit is what brought him to America's attention.
That's right.
I would say.
Johnny Five.
Yeah, playing a role he could not play today.
No, Hank Azaria got in trouble for the same thing.
Yeah. Looked down upon.
I don't know. The VO part of it seems much more doable than the actual part where you brown yourself up and act. But he was funny in the role, and everyone loved the movie because it was heartfelt and delightful and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, 91, 90?
90? I would say 90.
Yeah, I remember being very little.
Somewhere in there. But this
actually, no, it could be 80s.
Yeah, I think so.
This is the very white Fisher Stevens playing the role of the scientist. All right, we got it.
A lot of malapropisms.
1986.
Earlier than we thought. With the great Steve Guttenberg.
Goot.
The Goot was in there. I forgot about that. Goot, very nice guy. Did Dancing with the Stars with him. Went to an event at his home in the hills and enjoyed that, as memory serves. All right.
And Fisher Stevens is on Succession, one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah, he's turned into quite the director and legitimate actor. He, of course, has addressed this and said he would not do that today. No one will do anything today that was done before this last Tuesday. So we've all announced that.
He's reinvented himself as a documentarian, director, and also a producer. Did you guys ever see The Cove?
No, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either, but
it's tremendous. It's sad. I just told Emmy, you walked in, I'm like, you should see it. It's sad.
It goes into my list of Boys Don't Cry. I'm not the person you need to convince. Please don't make me watch it.
Is it the dolphin hunting?
Yeah, it's the powerful dolphin hunting, slaying movie.
I can't
Well,
do
the
it.
Academy Award for Best Documentary, and deservedly so. It was incredibly powerful, but sad.
I got to stop doing race car shit. Start getting into saving me some dolphins. All right, so we'll get into Fisher about that. Also, didn't want to bring it up, but I've long held him up as a example of guys can cheat on anyone.
Save this for when he gets here.
You guys have any idea what I'm talking about?
Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Yeah, he was with Michelle Pfeiffer for a number of years, and they were adopting a child together. And as I heard it, he got busted for cheating. And Fisher, not a bad-looking guy, but not the male equivalent to Michelle Pfeiffer. The only Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme are the
rarefied air.
He is with one of the most desirable women on the planet, but yet can carve out a little time. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Then that's how guys roll, Gina. So just so you know. Now, remember, you're no Michelle Pfeiffer, so the opportunity of your man.
My husband's like banging away right now.
He's no Fisher Stevens.
He knows him at work.
All right. That means we're all capable.
That's right.
That's what it means. All right. Let's see. Carrot Top and Josh Wolf, comedian, are going to join us when we get to Vegas.
Nice.
So that's coming up. Fun show last night at the Improv. We did our third installment of Adam Carolla and Friends doing stand-up over there.
Do tell.
Sklar Brothers. Oh. Well, it's very fun for me because I never go to a club, an hour and a half before I perform and then sit up in the wings and watch every performance. I never do it.
Right.
I get there. I go, what time am I supposed to be on stage? They go, 8:55. I go, I'll see you at 8:50. And I catch the last 3 minutes of whoever's act was on before me. And then I walk out. But got to watch the Sklar Brothers. Like, I hadn't watched them do stand-up. They're very funny. It's kind of a thing where you're like, how are these two guys going to do this stereo stand-up?
The only way I'd ever describe it is modern-day vaudeville because you don't see a two-man act anymore.
They're great.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Do you pay them the same?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, does each Sklar get Everyone gets favored nations. I don't know, it's like $300 or something.
Do they have to
and
split it?
I don't know if they have to whack it up or not. I didn't
You
check into that.
pay Brad Williams less?
That's
Brian,
the point.
please.
Sklar brothers, Brad Williams, Jessime Peluso, Jeremy Piven, who was fun to watch.
Quite a marquee.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Good crowd. One of my friends, Chris from high school. Not Chris, the guy I hung out with Ray, but another Chris from the football team. He just sat front and center. He sat against the edge of the stage in the very middle front of the stage.
Did he pay for his ticket?
And yes, he did.
Wow.
Well, because he called me like a day before and said, I already bought my tickets. I'm coming out. And I said, good.
I don't like front and center, though.
But every single comedian got up there and poked fun at him before I then got up there.
Two-way street.
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know, sit where you want, but if you sit in the front.
You're in the splash zone.
And you got a certain look.
Yeah.
You're in the splash zone.
What's the look?
He's a little heavy set with a big beard and lots of jokes about, Duck Dynasty and, that.
So it wasn't jokes about your Adam's friend. This was a random.
Well, the comedy of it is no comedian and they all went up before me, had any idea who he was. They just spotted the big dude with the big beard in the front and did a minute on that. And then I got up there and had to point out to everyone that this guy that you guys have all seen roasted for the last 90 minutes is my guest here and my high school friend. Yeah. He had a Toyota Corona station wagon.
Oh, just like me.
Yes.
The Corona.
Wow.
I announced, but, and I think I know Brian's path to the Corona wagon. Nobody has actually purchased a Corona station wagon new. They've been bequeathed it by somebody who died. I've never seen anyone under 50 driving that car who said, I went out to the Cerritos Toyota dealership in 1982 and I bought one of these babies, still had the paper on the tires. Every MFer who drove that car, especially anywhere around high school years, somebody died, somebody kicked it, somebody dropped it down to them.
Yeah, I don't know if ours was acquired, used or new. I do know that it was bequeathed to me as my high school car. No one died. It was the parents.
The high school car, yeah, but nobody.
Think how cool I was pulling up next to Tom Brady in my fucking station wagon. My buddy Brian Affronti used to just go, hey, Bish, where's the wife and kids?
Oh, sure, yeah. He had a red one. He used to pick us up early morning to go to high school football workout, summer practices, weight training or whatever at Valley College. And I just remember the brakes going out. We blew right through a four-way stop sign and clipped a Trans Am on our way in.
You could squeeze guys into the back.
Oh yeah,
the back.
That's an 8-manner.
This is very Queen family truckster looking.
Yeah, it was not a pussy wagon.
Far from. Well, there were pussies inside.
Yes.
Me and my friends.
That's right. Yeah.
Is red better or worse? Because it draws attention.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
I think it's worse in a weird way. But there were a few Toyota Corona recipients in my high school, and they all had it kicked down from somebody who had it before them. So that was a fun night. I was watching Halftime, the J-Lo, a doc about her preparation for the halftime show in 2020 with Shakira, and it's a lot of backstage and behind the scenes, and I love a doc. It doesn't matter what it's about, unless it's slaughtering dolphins, and then I just have a hard time with it. But I was watching this thing, and she kept making these grandiose proclamations. Her thing was, it's time to start planning out your halftime show. What's she going to do? And her thing is she was going to make a statement. She has
finally
seen these Latino kids in cages, and somebody needed to say something, and that somebody was her.
Huh. I don't remember this.
Yeah. Well, the reason nobody remembers it, although it is one of the thrusts of the doc is her arguing with the NFL and what about the cages, and you only have 18 cages and we need more cages and someone's going to make a stand.
I don't remember that at all.
No, the reason, and maybe Chris will find a picture of the cages or the kids in the cages. They of course didn't read as cages. They
like go-go
cages.
Yeah.
silver orbs is what they read
Like
like.
motorcycles driving around inside.
Yes, so she was making this statement, but it landed on deaf eyes and ears because nobody knew. Well, we'll play it. We'll play the clips.
Were they dancing inside the cages?
Let's see. Here she is.
The cages. The image of the cages for me, like I couldn't believe what I was watching. There's just certain things as a human being you don't do. What is my message?
We cut this up this way.
This is a dark subject matter, but if we can get the message across in a beautiful way, where it's soft and it can be received, then maybe more people get the message.
She's shaking her.
I saw anal
Falling
clap.
ass.
Give you something with substance. Not just us out there shaking our fucking asses and fucking belly dancing. I want something real.
Shaking their asses.
This is about human rights.
Chris
I'm
got
facing
this
the
up.
biggest crossroads of my life.
A lot of pole dancing.
But to take out the cages and sacrifice what I believe in
Oh.
would be like
yeah, I remember this.
never being there at all.
It didn't read as kids in cages.
No, and it
I
did
guess
read
in a
as a lot
literal
of
definition.
ass shaking out there.
So much fringe.
Yeah, but
so
anyway.
much sequins.
Of course, I'm jealous because there's a picture of the kids in the cages, but again, it just reads like they're in these orbs that may lift off the ground.
Yeah, they're like our
Bird
alien
cages,
overlords.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So sorry, J-Lo. Message not received 100% by anybody. Number one. Number two, I wish that I had the internal wiring to announce that somebody has to say something and that somebody is me. Like it must be done.
Name of the next
I will
book.
free these kids from not through any actions, just through I've made the proclamation
Yeah.
that this isn't right.
Right.
That no child should go to bed hungry. Everyone should have a world-class education. No child should be torn from the arms of the mother and thrown in a cage. And I'm against this.
Yeah, by simply declaring or proclaiming.
I've made this declaration. Now, of course, if you watch the doc, she seems, she's as into cages as, oh God, let's see, as Robert Kennedy is into vaccines.
Oh.
Or,
I didn't see that coming.
well, what I mean is this was her cause. Whatever that cause is. Gina Davis is into archery. This is her thing.
Sure.
This was her thing. So I was like, all right. So
Randy Johnson is to photography.
that's right. He loves
heard
photography.
about
That's
this, right?
right.
Yeah,
Does
that's right.
cruise ships and stuff
I
like
did
that.
a sporting events.
As Michael Moore is into Flint drinking water.
There we go.
That's how obsessed watching
Uniquely.
this doc as she was into these kids with these cages. So, of course, I do what I do, which is, all right, how involved are you now? Because 2.5 years ago, you're pretty damn steeped into cages and kids and freeing those cages. The stats are a little hard to find, but I had Gary look some of those up. Middle of 2019, the highest level of unaccompanied minors in custody, sort of under Trump, were 2,600, and then J-Lo
At any one time.
yeah, J-Lo performed about 8 months after that. So that was her thing. And then that was the max because then they stopped doing the detaining unaccompanied minors.
Thanks to the halftime show.
2020. And Joe Biden got inaugurated, and the last number was end of March 2021, and we had over 5,000.
What?
Unaccompanied minors in custody. So about double of what Trump had, but J-Lo's done with the kids in the cages, although it's worse now than it was when she was so originally upset about it. So
Oh, no.
she's got to get back onto that cage train
Still
and
with those baked
fix this
potato
problem.
blankets?
I guess I don't. It makes sense. The border's such a shit show now that there would make sense that there are more unaccompanied minors that are in cages. But still, again, remember that 7-year-old who your heart goes out to walked here from Honduras. So at least they're in a place now free of pedophiles.
Scorpions.
We got vaccines and medicine and 3 hots and a cot and possibly a video game. So it's still better than that, or at least 3 hots and a potato blanket. All right. So that was J-Lo taking a stand.
Oh, nice.
And we'll put that vid up on our YouTube page because it's kind of funny. Because
amazing.
I said, Chris, you got to edit in the ass shaking to when she's making the proclamations. Yeah. All right. Here's something I wanted one of you to think about, but both of you can think about it, but I don't know if both of you can pull it off.
Challenge accepted.
I don't know where this is going.
One of us has to die.
I kind of wanted everyone to think about it. So I talked to Colin O'Brady on my podcast, Take a Knee, very inspirational guy, and he walked across Antarctica. Jesus Christ. And he dragged a sled. And nobody had done that before. And by the way, no Sherpa, no supply truck.
Shit.
Just solo.
Oh my God.
Did it solo. And it was a really crazy story. So he's the first guy to do it, and he did it. For
context, I think it's way harder than Everest. I think a lot more people have done Everest than have walked across Antarctica.
Yeah, it's 932 miles. He did it in 54 days, but it's like snow blackout conditions, and he's navigating by staring at a compass that's directly under his chin and literally just because you would just walk in a circle otherwise.
Right.
There was no trail or path or anything. He's literally trying to line up. It's like driving down the freeway with your eyes closed and just listening for the bumpity bumps as you drifted in and out of your lane, and then correcting it back this way. He's doing this with his compass.
Sure.
But the story, and it'll lead to a bigger question, which I think is kind of profound, and an experiment, and I would challenge everyone to try the experiment. He did this. Now, the reason he would walk 12 hours a day. He said the sled at the beginning weighed 375 pounds. And he said when he took off, he literally tried to tug it and fell down. Okay. But he's going to have to go another 932 miles this way. But the sled gets lighter as you go.
Consume food.
And most of the weight on the sled is cooking oil, heating oil. You connect no water. There's no water. The water's all around you.
Yeah, sure.
But you have to
melt in your mouth.
You have to melt it with this thing, So a couple interesting things. I said, "What did you eat?" And he said, "That's a good question because the common, and this is a Vinny thing, the commonly used is like pemmicans, like some
jerky.
Mashed up. Yeah." He said, I think a pemmican is dried meat or like jerky. Yeah. He said it's like a mashed up pork with other oils and stuff. And it's like cheese, salami, and just oil and protein.
Right.
He said that's what most guys do. He said he actually went into a lab and worked on a actual thing and came up with a bar, which was a bar, not a package bar, but breaking off pieces of it. And he said it was all coconut oil.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not all, but mainly coconut oil, and then tons of seeds and nuts, and not peanuts, but the good nuts that Vinny. It's as if Vinny cooked up something for him to eat, and he said, but that's all he ate.
Jesus.
For 54 days, he had enough bricks of this stuff just to gnaw on it the whole time. But he did testing with inflammation in his body in the lab, and there's also some. Herbs and not herbs and spices, but
flavor seasonings.
Salt.
No. There were like vitamins and other extracts that were laid into the mix. Makes sense, right? Calcium or magnesium or whatever. And they made this bar that was like a Scooby snack for him. It was like his own food that his body reacted to the best under, and especially under these super stressful conditions. So then but no one had ever done it before, right? And when he trained for a year and did all the testing and the blood work and the packs and the sleds and the everything, but he said on the way out, because you can only do it during a certain window in the weather and times of the year and stuff like that, so they just do it like on one time. So on the way out, there's some British Special Forces guy who's getting dropped off with him because he's going for the record. So now he's literally has this other guy who's wants to be the first guy to do this solo and him. And the guy's a Special Forces guy. He's kind of a hard ass. And he's getting into his head a little bit, you know. And they take off at the same time. And the British guy just marches. And he's struggling with his sled. But he said...
Tortoise in the hair.
Said it like, you know, I don't know, 5 hours in, he catches up to the guy, and now he has to physically like walk with him, although there's no talking.
Jesus.
You're just walking with this guy, and it's now you want to talk about a test of wills, a 932-mile sled drag, and you're just walking with the other guy the whole time.
5 hours into day one,
right?
Awkward.
And who stops first?
Oh God.
I mean, who is the guy who says, I'm stopping and I'm setting up my
Bedding
tent
down.
and watching the other guy marching into the night and
Yeah.
taking his record away, right? So I think he said he stopped first, and the British guy just kept going just to kind of fuck with his head. And at some point, he kind of contacted his control center, and his wife said, you're not covering enough ground at 10 hours a day. So he said, I'll try 12. I'll try a 12-hour hike. So he went for 12 hours because she said, according to the distance you're covering per day, you're going to run out of food, 100 miles before you get to where you need to go. So you better step it up to 12 hours versus the 10 hours. Wow. And he kept going, and he started doing the 12 hours every day for 54 days or whatever it was. And ended up beating the British guy and all that.
Past his frozen corpse.
All that good
Jack
stuff.
Nicholson in The Shining.
Yes. But he said that during those 12-hour walks, his mind would go places that he'd never imagined. Just alone with nothing, just walking in a sea of whiteout.
You and your thoughts.
You and your thoughts. And so...
No volleyball, no Wilson.
He put together this challenge of the 12-hour walk, which is you, and many people around the world are signing up. You pick a day and you walk out your front door. Now, I said to him, well, what about like when you're on vacation in Maui or something? Like, shouldn't you, And he said, no, it's better in a familiar environment. You should do it where you should walk out your front door. There's not a lot of rules. You can stop as much as you want. The rules are no, you don't get to bring someone with you.
Okay.
And I'm already in. I like that.
No earbuds.
Okay.
So's the person you didn't bring, Gina. That's who we never hear about.
It's mutual.
So no earbuds, no podcast, no best of... Steely Dan.
Sure.
I was just like a Steely Dan.
No, really.
That's crazy.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Perfect.
No, nothing. Just you.
Okay.
Just you and your thoughts. And, if you want to take your phone, put it on airplane mode. You can stop. You could go into the gas station and buy water if you want. Don't be too chatty. Just get your water and keep on going. You could do a loop.
Okay.
Some people see how far they can get in 12 hours. Average is like 25, 28 miles normally. You could do a short circuit around the block of your house 150 times, but it's 12 hours. Walk out the door, come back, and your mind will be in a completely and utterly different place. You will have memories, vivid memories of Steely Dan. You will have vivid memories that that always get. Now you start thinking about something that happened in high school, and then the phone rings or gets knocked off, or you see something or whatever it is. Just walking, no buds. Take as much. It doesn't matter how much ground you cover. You leave 12 hours. That's it.
Interesting.
Now, I thought this is a really interesting experiment. Now, look, it's going to be
sponsoring a walker.
It's going to be good for you.
Sure.
Fuck yeah.
That much we know. But where's your head going to go? And then I tend to think that I would pick a spot like from where I live to where I'm at in Malibu part-time is about that distance. I would, some people just walk, they walk from the valley to Santa Monica Pier. They just road work it out and figure it out. Again,
marathon route.
You got to pick places that are about 25. I think 25 to 30 are the,
like a marathon.
The sweet spot. Yeah. And then you just walk for 12 hours.
I'm interested.
You want to try it?
I think so. I mean, I feel like I should work up to it. I walk like 2 or 3 miles a day, so I'm not trying to like fucking kill myself.
Well,
but I'm very interested.
You can
just take a Saturday,
all
7
the
to
water
7.
and all the snacks you want. It's not. It's a mind thing. It's not. I don't think it's that. If you get tired, you can sit down.
Sure, it's just about the sort of isolation aspect.
Yeah,
no
it's just about really being left alone with yourself for 12 full hours.
Interesting.
That part I could do. That part sounds great. I love being alone. I love having my own thoughts, just musing or thinking, solving problems in my life. The physical part of it would be difficult for me, obviously. In my athletic peak, like 06, 07, 08, I could pull this off easily. It'd be great.
But I love that that's the secondary part of this challenge. You know what I mean?
Physical?
Like you said, like you can stop, you could sit on a bench if you have to, rest. It's just about sort of being alone and not having any distraction and moving when you can move.
That part I love.
Yes, it would be, if Brian was to attempt this, it would be you walking out your front door, going to the end of the cul-de-sac, sitting down for 10 minutes, and then walking back, but it's really, I mean, I'm sure you could achieve something close to this by just standing in your front yard for 12 hours. But I think it'd be better to try to, for me, is to try to go from point A to point B rather than go out halfway and then turn around and come back. I think it'd be more, and I'd be a more interesting story. If anything, just to go, I walked to Santa Monica once. Yeah. Or I walked to the Malibu Pier from Pasadena.
That sounds insane.
It does.
So are you going to do it?
Yeah, I am going to do it.
Can we wait till it cools off to below 90?
Can I tell you, I was driving home from here to Malibu. I left here at 4:30 yesterday. No, I arrived on PCH at 5 p.m., 91 degrees on PCH in Malibu, as it was hotter in Malibu than it was in Glendale, California, and it was weird hot.
That's what I tried to explain because, Vinny doesn't live here anymore. And so I was talking to him on the phone and he's like, well, has the weather changed? I go, yeah. Now it's 92 with that really dry wind. That's how you know it's fall.
It's a book. I'll give Colin O'Brady a plug, The 12-Hour Walk. And it's interesting. I don't know. Chris, Dawson, you're out. Chris, what about you?
I would do it.
You would do it?
Yeah.
I'd try it for sure.
How many here would do it? And then how many here would do it if we start circling some dates on the calendar? Like how many? Dawson's in?
I would do it.
You would do it.
I can smoke cigarettes, right?
I didn't want to offend Colin by talking about that.
Right.
But I would say
probably not. And get nicotine lozenges. He was very, and all people who want other people to do things are very fast to say, do it on your own terms. It's 12 hours. Walk out your front door at 12, at 6 in the morning, return at 6 at night. Those are the only rules. You can stop. You can, drink. You can smoke. You can do whatever you want. Just leave and come back. And no listening to music or podcasts or any of that stuff.
And leave the dogs at home?
Yes.
I didn't ask him if you could. Well, you'd be dragging the dogs back. Yeah.
I can do it either November 12th or December 10th. So they're both Saturdays.
2028.
Should we get everyone to commit to a date? I mean,
if it's not hot, I'll do it November 11th. If it's hot, I'm waiting until December.
Yeah. I want it to be cooled off.
That sounds awesome. I'd have to work my way up to. I walk Tessa to school every day, 3.5 blocks, and I'm tired by the time I'm done.
Are we all do?
Sounds awesome. Brian. No, sounds great.
Are we all doing this together, or is it like the honor system?
Well, what I was
thinking... Can't do it together.
What I was thinking was you keep your phone on, like, open it so it's like the privacy, the location is on, exactly. Because you can't talk to anyone all day, so it's not like you can update people on your route.
No.
So you just keep the tracking on, I guess.
Yeah.
The GPS on.
Yeah, I might have to work that day.
I'm interested.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start looking for a date. I agree with you. It's got to cool off, but I think we should get a date. People should try it and then report back. It's kind of ayahuasca-y. Like, what was your experience?
With way less shitting yourself, I hope.
Yes, hopefully.
Depends on your pace.
That's true.
All right. So, Chris, find out if everyone around here would do this. That's what I'd be curious about. Let me tell you about Geico. Do you own, do you rent your home? Well, sure you do, and you work hard. I'll tell you what's easy. Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see just how much you could save and just how easy it is to save when you get your savings on with Geico at geico.com. All right, we will take ourselves a quick break, back with a couple corrections and a phone call right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hello, Adam. This is Brian in Temecula. I would just like to ask you, did you ever go to the strip club called Fritz That's It in Bellflower, California? It closed in 2008 and now is an In-N-Out burger. Fritz That's It. You must have been there once, man. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
No, never been. I don't know what the modern day strip club is like, but I would imagine for me, too many tattoos, too much plastic surgery, too much scary pole work, and too many aggressive piercings.
Yeah, throwing a lot of lucite, like inches of lucite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and too much lucite.
Is lucite part of it?
Yeah, lucite. Lucite
I thought
in the
you meant like a hockey barrier.
No,
footwear.
Too much footwear, too much front lucite.
I see.
I don't mind the heels, but it's called a heel, and they do the ball of the foot. They start at 3 inches.
I know what you mean, yeah.
You'd think there must be some sort of stripper surgeon, because there's got to be a lot of rolled ankles in that.
There's a Dr. James Andrews of strippers.
Yes.
I hope they don't bring in whoever puts down the horses at the track when you roll an ankle.
Oh, yeah.
You bring out that partition.
Well, she's done for.
Yeah.
My ankle just rolled.
Quiet
you.
Somebody's got some more fresh off the Black Reaction videos.
Watching some last night.
It's very easy to go down that rabbit hole. Man, is it easy to go down that rabbit hole. Andrew, 49. These are videos of black people reacting to a lot of things white people do, singing, stand-up, things like that. Andrew?
It's a great rabbit hole to go down into, but it gets even more twisted. I mean, I guess the inverse of it would also be, and I don't know if it's come up on your feed, is black people reacting to James Brown videos, Earth, Wind, and Fire videos. There's been some sort of musical amnesia going on the last 20 years, and it reinvigorates my faith in music just to watch these people discover this music in the way we always enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so when I was young, the idea was to be old. You wanted to dress older, look older, fake IDs, stuffing socks in my bra.
Sure.
And occasionally underpants. There's a lot of like trying to be older and then trying to know stuff that older people knew and get references and be hip because you knew, like we all kind of remember that thing when you were 15 and there was one dude who was 18 and he was Matthew McConaughey, Dazed and Confused. And it's like,
been there and done that.
And he was like, cigarette, and you're like, oh yeah, sure. I eat cigarettes all the time. Want another beer? Oh, I like beer. Yeah, I like to unwind with a beer after a hard day in the 7th grade, And it's like, that was the goal. Yeah. The goal was to be older. And now the goal is be younger. And if the goal is being younger, then why would you want to know about stuff that older people knew? And the number one answer, if you ever talk to a younger person, and some of them are, it's nuts. Like, literally, they've never heard of Winston Churchill or something like that, or even some old make of a car like a Duesenberg or something with World War II. They didn't know who was, And the number one answer when you go, you've really never heard of this band.
I wasn't alive, dude.
Yeah. They go, I'm not old like you, dude. Right. And then they throw it right back in your face. But I never offered that up as an excuse. It was always, I pretended to know what they were talking about, and then I wanted to look into it, and I wanted to be older. So it makes sense now that if you're 23 and Earth, Wind, and Fire, broke, well, I don't know if they broke up, but their heyday was before you were born, then there's like some sort of moving scale, which is like, sometimes they'll do some things with like cars or something like that. And they'll go, if the car's over 20 years older from the current date, then it doesn't have to be smogged in the state of blah, blah, blah. And it's like this thing that moves along. So everybody who's 20 only goes back like 20 years. And then they're missing all the music. And then there's also that kind of snobbery of like nothing exists. There's a two-way snobbery. There's one is nothing existed before me, but conversely, we need to tear down that statue of that Italian explorer because he did something wrong to an Indian. And my thing is like, which one is it, bitch?
Pick a lane.
Is it you're an expert on the founding fathers or the founding or nothing existed before you?
Yeah, it's moot.
So all the people that are 23 trying to tear down the statues of people that were around 300 years ago are simultaneously have never heard of the band Steely Dan, but the statue of this old guy in a funny hat needs to be destroyed. So which is it? And it's all narcissism is basically what it is. But it is crazy. So you see these people and they go, that guy could sing, or this guy's singing.
Who knew?
Yes, people sung.
Yeah. The one I wanted down last night was black people reacting to the Beatles' Come Together. Because everyone's familiar with the mop top Beatles, want to hold your hand, that whole thing. Come Together got like a funky bass line and kind of a staccato rhythm. And they're like, yeah, man, I dig this. It's like, yeah, they were world-class musicians.
Also, let's see. I'll try not to be too politically incorrect here, but the black culture is powerful. And
hold on.
And it's powerful to Whitey, but I think it's powerful within as well. And so my son, his job is not to be the next LeBron James. His job is to appreciate LeBron James. And
fair.
I don't think I have to worry about the first.
My daughter's not, her job is not to be the next, Kanye before the controversy.
Misty May.
Her job is to watch, and appreciate. Yes. So there's a lot of, you see an NBA game, there's oftentimes 10 black men on the court and 92% of the people in the crowd are white going nuts. So I think sometimes with the black community, they're like, we handle the dancing and the singing, and this is our thing. And who are those Righteous Brother guys over there? That's not us. So I think there's even a bigger element.
I'm with you.
No, I mean, it makes sense.
First time I thought about that.
Is Andrew? Andrew, what do you think of that synopsis?
So here, you put a pin on it, and I'll keep it even in house. If anybody out there that thinks they're an Adam Carolla fan, Tony Barbieri's name came up a couple weeks ago. Sometimes you guys talk about Perry. I always love it. You're not an Adam fan unless you guys know Windy City Heat.
Well said.
Well put.
We were just talking about that movie yesterday, actually.
Oh, really? I don't plug it too much on the show, but it is amongst the favorite of the Hollywood comedian cult in the cult classic category.
Why don't we talk about it more? Because the premise alone, talk about not knowing your history. You know, everyone who loves a good prank show. The premise alone is insane that it was able to be pulled off.
Do you have, Chris? You can maybe find. There's a million insane clips from that movie, but one of them, it all sounds nuts, which is Scary Perry gets thrown in a dumpster, and then somebody announces to him, "You got to have a stunt double, man. You got to tell the director." Well, Bobcat Goldthwait, there's a couple stuff. There's just tons of shit. Bobcat Goldthwait is the director, but he only talks through a bullhorn.
And he got my favorite.
Even when you're standing next to him.
And he goes, and act.
And act. But the thing, and I don't know why I love these kind of jokes, but there's a Bobcat Goldthwait there where he's like having a kind of private conversation with someone, but it's still through the bullhorn, And the guy goes, "You really need to talk through the bullhorn for this?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me turn it down." He turned the bullhorn down and then continued to talk through the bullhorn. So there's all of that.
Streaming on YouTube.
Streaming on YouTube. The scene where he wants the stunt double, to me, I don't know why that one made me laugh. But there was a red bat, blue bat one scene that was kind of crazy.
And I don't know why I keep remembering everyone offering him food every second. Like, my stomach hurts. Stop offering me food.
Well, first things first. So he's told he needs a stunt double because he doesn't need to be thrown into dumpsters and what have you. So they go, "Oh, so he demands a stunt double." His stunt double is 100 pounds heavier than him. And of course he shows up and he's like, "That guy's so, no, we got a guy." And he's like, that doesn't look like me. Yeah, it looks, that's why you have to. That's what a stunt double. So that. And then he has the scene with Lisa Kuchel, who is from Acme, who's jiggly wiggly with big stuffed fake tits. And at some point he's about to bed her or have his love scene, and the stunt double walks in and sort of taps him on the shoulder, and he's like, "Huh? Stunt double? You wanted a stunt double?" And then he bangs her, and then Perry's pissed about it. Andrew, do you have any favorite thoughts of Windy City Heat?
The movie is great. The podcast was even better on the network when it was on, and even the Dawn spinoff podcast was great. That whole thing goes on forever, and it provides great joy for me.
The audition at the beginning we filmed at Acme Theater, and I think Carson Daly and Dane Cook showed up as other potential. He was playing Stone Fury, I think it was. The movie Windy City Heat was Stone Fury, who was a sports detective. And somebody
forgot about that.
He worked in the sports arena, and somebody had stolen the fridge's fridge.
Perry.
And so he thought he was making a movie about a sports detective named Stone Fury called Windy City Heat, except for it was all this elaborate ruse that he was not. Oh, you know what was great too? Kenny, SpongeBob.
Oh.
SpongeBob. Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny played the wardrobe guy. This is a scene. Tom Kenny played the gay wardrobe guy, and he thought he was dealing with Luke Perry instead of Scary Perry.
And he kept telling him to change, but he kept opening the door. And Scary Perry did not like the idea of the gay wardrobe guy busting in on him. That scene. I was a gladiator in the movie, and all I remember is we filmed it on some lot somewhere. Oh, they had one of the scenes when they were talking. You know, we talk about what else is going on the lot. The guys in the outfits, the Martian outfits, the Roman outfits. One of the scenes was in the background of the soundstage they're on. They had a basketball hoop set up and some other production. Schindler's List 2 was filming, and the Nazi guards were playing the Jews in a pickup game in the background, like during their lunch break.
By the way, you were starring in a dog buddy film called Air Caligula.
That's right. I was
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. This is Tom Kinney and Scary Perry in wardrobe in the trailer. Sorry.
Mistake. You're Perry Carvello, not Luke Perry.
Am I in the wrong wardrobe?
No, you're in the right wardrobe. This isn't the stage for Oklahomos? Is this where they're shooting Oklahomos?
You got the wrong
what are you in?
fucking
What
wardrobe.
production is this?
Windy City here.
Oh,
This is
I'm
Windy
sorry,
City.
let me...
Perry's a gay man!
Perry,
Oh, boy.
you're here one day and you turn into a freak show. What's going on here?
You leave this man alone. He's an actor, and he's worked with Aaron Spelling.
Get the fuck out of my room!
What do you wear it, dude?
I was thinking that this was some freak fucking part.
Do you want me to-
First off, why the fuck are the two of you in here without knocking?
I did
That's
not.
one.
And the one
No,
I did
you
not.
didn't.
Mr. Perry, I'm sorry.
Get the fuck over here.
Do you want me to get the F over there or get out the door or what?
Take
All right.
this.
Because there's been a mistake? Is
Yes,
that what...
there's a major
I think there is, and we're as upset about it as you are. I'm so sorry.
Get the fuck out of my dressing room.
So there were a bunch of
worked with Aaron Spelling.
There were cameos from everybody. This is him in his love scene with Lisa Kushel, Jiggly Wiggly, I think.
Please, Stone. I'll do anything.
Anything?
Anything.
And cut. All right, folks, we're about to do a very graphic and very sensual love scene. If you're offended easily, I would ask you to leave now. This is going to be a very, very sensual scene. There's going to be a lot of nudity. And with that, could we bring in stunts, please? Stunts. Thank you. No, Perry, you'll step out. You go with who's taking
Guy,
Perry?
where?
Who
Why
else
do
is
I have
leaving?
to step out? You mean I don't get to make love to...
No, this is a stunt. Once she's completely naked.
The
and
fucking cheese pizza fucking ruined me. Come on, I gotta take a shit.
You gotta take a shit?
Yeah.
Yes, I want you licking him.
Okay.
Jesus.
Licking him. Did you say licking?
Yeah, I would like to watch.
Come on.
I gotta take a shit real bad. Can I go to my trailer and go to the bathroom?
No. We can't leave until they're done shooting.
Let him take a shit.
Oh my God.
Perry?
What?
Is that you?
Shut up.
Are you okay?
Shut up.
I heard something.
Yeah, you heard my ass.
What?
No, just shut the fuck up.
Perry, I'm trying to help you. What did I do?
You're talking to me.
Perry, are you
Let
okay
me use
in
the
there?
bathroom, okay?
Are you okay? I
I'm
heard
fine.
something. What was that noise?
What do you think, stupid?
I'm not stupid. What was that noise?
My ass farting.
Oh, I apologize.
Durr.
No, I mean, you sounded sick and I thought you were injured or something. Perry, what are you doing in there? You can't talk to me.
I'm taking a shit, stupid.
I'm stupid? You had a chance to have a love scene with a beautiful woman, you asked for a stunt double, and I'm stupid?
I didn't ask for a stunt double for the love scene.
You asked for a stunt double.
For the fucking garbage dumpster, not for the love scene.
Harry, a love scene is a stunt. You asked for the stunt double. Love scene is a stunt, so you in turn asked for a stunt double for the love scene.
I did not ask for a...
Then who did?
Shut the fuck up, you're an idiot.
They keep handing him food.
I don't want food.
You said you were hungry.
I don't want food.
I heard you tell Don you were hungry. And then I went.
Bring it back to just bring it back to the room. I'm not fucking hungry. I'm pissed.
What are you pissed about?
That asshole keeps talking to me while I'm trying to take a shit.
So you don't want the food?
No. Bye.
We're going to have to watch the whole movie.
We
Do you want me to save it for you?
It's so funny because...
Can I save it for you?
Like, you don't love prank stuff in general. I don't love prank stuff, and I could watch this movie fucking 100 times.
Well, we got to keep going until the guy's done making love because it pays off.
What's going on?
The stunt double's fired.
When the scene is done, why don't you tell Bob that you don't want the stunt double anymore? That's all you gotta do. But you yell at me.
What?
You yell at me. You yelled at me.
You're yelling at me.
You yelled at me.
You're yelling at me.
You yelled at me.
Shut up.
You shut up. Is this his food? Why don't you have some
I don't
food?
want it.
Then why'd you ask for it?
I didn't ask for it.
Who did that?
Don't ask me.
Yes, Don.
I didn't ask Don to get food. I said, are you hungry?
Hey,
self-satisfied.
Go.
I want the stunt double gone.
I just got a raise.
The stunt double's walking out arm in arm with the woman he just laid.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Perry, you were awesome in that sex scene, dude. The guy is putting his
fire the stunt double.
Oh,
I can't use any of it because they had full penetration. You know?
Did they use
I can't get an NC-17. I got the NAACP already all over me. What was that, Perry?
Did they use the condoms?
They used the condoms, and they used that lotion stuff they blew on and got hot, and then he used those clips, and then he used that strap-on thing. She did all the stuff that they have on the worldwide internet. She was doing the stuff to him, and it was crazy, like, because I think she's an acrobat, too.
Why? What'd she do?
She, like, lifted her legs behind her head and stuff.
Oh, hey, wow.
You should have totally been in there
making
sweet,
totally
sweet love with that pretty
making
naked lady.
Sweet sex with
the pretty naked lady.
My girl.
Yeah.
But I got fucked over. And then comes the stunt double who gave her the salami. And of course, you know, she loved what she got.
Well, you were the one who begged for a stunt guy.
For the shit in the dumpster, not for all the
stunts.
But
now he's going to be the guy in all the other sex
So what are you
scenes.
telling me?
So now I want to fire
So
him.
with the megaphone.
I demanded, right to Bobcat's face, I says, look, Bob, no more stunt doubles when it comes to the rest of this movie.
You're gonna do the stunts. You're gonna do your own stunts.
Yes. He's fired, and he's fired for good. Because I'm looking at me as another Jackie Chan. Anything. I'm gonna do all stunts.
I want to explain this again. Red bat is the wooden bat. Don't hit Perry. Don't hit.
All right. He wanted to do his own stunts, and of course the next one had to go terribly wrong.
His assistant's holding the megaphone. As he got a bat in each hand.
Oh, I forgot about this movie. Yeah, it's funny. It got kind of buried. Comedy Central maybe aired it once. God, there's so many people. Who was in this thing?
They should be running on chassis.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
You're right. Who was, I know Bob was in it, and Dane Cook was in it, and Carson Daly was in it, and
Jimmy's in the
Tom
end.
Kenny, Jimmy's in it. I know I was doing a space gladiator dog buddy movie called Air Caligula. That's right. But you had to do them. This is a weird movie to shoot because you never knew exactly where it was going to go. So everyone had to kind of keep their improv chops sharp.
And I don't know if this is on purpose or not. I'm assuming it is. Adam Carolla on IMDb plays Adam Carolla spelled wrong.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen it. Carson was on that.
Laura
Tom Kenny.
Silverman?
Laura Silverman. Yeah. Sarah's sister was on there.
Tammy Faye.
Dave Sheridan was. Tammy Faye was in this thing. God.
The fridge.
The fridge. Oh, yeah. We got the fridge.
Toby Huss. Toby Huss is fantastic.
Yeah.
You would know him as the voice of the grandfather in King of the Hill.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
The shooting Nazis.
Colin Quinn was in this thing.
Oh my God!
So it was loaded for bear.
And who was the second best band from Palmdale?
Oh, that was Dave Sheridan. And Dave Sheridan, there was Torch.
Steel Panther?
No, it wasn't
But we
Steel
had them
Panther.
on the show before. I can't think of their name.
Well, there was Torchwind, I think.
Scourge. No.
Scourge.
Windjammer.
Right.
They're close.
The joke was they were the third loudest band in the Riverside or Palmdale. They're the third loudest band, and then
Scourge, those guys are cool.
Scourge was cool. Windjammer sucked.
Those guys suck.
They were the second loudest band, but they were a calypso band.
The whole part with that guy driving the limo at the end and then turning everybody onto his music.
That was Dave Sheridan.
Oh God!
I had a scene in a Dave Sheridan movie.
I somehow remember this.
Dave Sheridan was going to be the next Jim Carrey. And they did a Pet Detective type knockoff movie named like Frank McCluskey, insurance guy, whatever. He was going to be. He did voices. He was good looking. He had kind of a rubber face, and he was going to do this. And then I was in it. I played a detective in it. God, everything's. This is why I got to go on that 12-hour walk.
Right.
All this weird stuff is going to come dumping back into my head. But yeah, Windy City Heat. I watched Windy City Heat in a packed movie theater, and I've never heard so much out loud laughter. I'm not going to say it's the funniest movie because there's lots of movies I love, like Defending Your Life.
Sure.
But when you watch it in a crowded movie theater, you shall hear out loud laughter the entire damn movie. So watch it for free on YouTube.
And my 6 Degrees of Dolly Parton window just closed considerably because
she
you
was
were
in
in
it.
Frank McCluskey. Dolly Parton was in Frank McCluskey.
Damn.
That's right. I was. All right. Let's see. Quick. Let's see. Last call. Rob, 25 Florida.
Oh. Sorry, hello?
Hi, guy.
Hey, sorry, Adam. My bad. I had a little thing here with my daughter. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi.
Yeah, I just had a question, Adam. I didn't get your take on this, so I was curious. I may have missed it, but what do you think about the whole Kanye situation and his, I guess, deplatforming, so to speak, and the increasing blacklisting that you're seeing, I guess, day to day throughout all of that stuff?
And did you see the clip of him with Piers Morgan?
I saw
something. I imagine you agree with.
You know?
Yeah, he's saying, why doesn't Biden invite Elon Musk to the table to have a conversation? And then went on a little bit of a tirade.
Well, the thing about Kanye is he's an agitator and provocateur and a genius at the same time and may have some issues mentally as well. He does what a lot of these guys do, which is he goes down a road and the first thing he does is, and if you see him interviewed on Tucker, anyone see that?
Yes.
It's kind of interesting, which is he has a thing which I totally agree with, which is circling back to sort of the black tastemakers. The establishment, sort of Hollywood and big tech and stuff like that, they don't give a fuck what Ted Nugent says because he's just a shit kicker, racist, and gun lover, and fuck that.
You heard it here first.
But if Kanye West or someone like LeBron James started talking out against a lot of the shit they talk about, that's a big problem for them because they're influencers. Ted Nugent is influencing 5 white guys in Arkansas, but Kanye's got my daughter's ear.
Right.
And all her friends. Right. So when Kanye gets off the platform and stops going down, whatever, it's Black Lives Matter and all this COVID stuff and whatever the marching orders are, when he starts going off of that, initially they go nuts. He's insane, don't listen to him, because they don't want people listening to him because he's an influencer and he's pro-Trump.
We can't have that. That Ted Nugent can be pro-Trump, but that guy can't be pro-Trump. So then you call him insane, and then at some point they say something stupid about the Jews or some conspiracy thing or something.
Brush it with a huge
and then they fuck up their own thing where they should have just stayed with the initial stuff, which is interesting. Like in that interview, as I said, he said, you know, the Kardashians, big influence. Like he says, they don't tell you what to say; they tell you what you can't say. Like you couldn't just think of, you know, forget about race, just something about COVID. You know what I mean? If a guy like that, just imagine LeBron James like stepping out and going, I don't think people should get vaccinated. I'm healthy. I'm not going to have my kids. Like they can't have that kind of talk when it comes to this kind of stuff. So they will be destroyed. And then there's the part where it's like Citibank is going to close his account or whatever, Chase. And it's like, I don't know. Listen, all you big corporations who have no interest other than making money, whether you're the NBA doing business with China or Citibank doing whatever God knows you're up to, just fucking spare me the ethics and the morals.
That one was fascinating, like for two reasons. First of all, I would have never known who had Kanye's money. Like that was a non-issue to all of us.
Don't care.
And then, like you said, I wouldn't tug at that thread, JP Morgan Chase. God knows
what you're up to in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So interesting guy, crossed the line with the Jews for sure.
I know what Rob's saying, and ultimately I agree, but for a guy who's being deplatformed, I can't get away from this fucking guy.
That's true.
All I do is hear about fucking Kanye.
Well, maybe it's impossible these days. All right. Let's see. Fisher Stevens is waiting in the wings. So let me tell you about Concrete. The stuff is good. It is creatine. Your body needs creatine. About half the creatine comes from your diet, but most American diets low in creatine-rich foods. Concrete, patented creatine. HCl is the favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. The #1 bioavailable creatine and the only microdose in creatine. Just one small scoop per 100 pounds. So I'll put 2 little scoops in some water, shake it up. Got a nice lemony flavor to it. And you feel the energy immediately. Creatine is required for functional energy in every cell. Your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body. Your immune cells need it. Heart cells need it to pump, and lungs as well. So get yourself some Concrete. Dr. Drew swears by this stuff as well. Am I right, Dawson?
Take control of your body and take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-crete.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card, available now and online and in-store at Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
All right, we'll talk to actor and documentarian and producer and director Fisher Stevens right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Wolverine.
If you said Red Dawn,
Wolverines! You're correct. Now, back to the show.
Give me 1,000 years and $1 million. I would have never got that one. Fisher Stevens is joining us. The series is the Lincoln Project. It's airing on Showtime. We're 3 episodes in, and it's a 5-part series. And Fisher's, like as we discussed earlier with Cove, has been doing lots of yeoman's work with documentaries, for sure. Good to see you, Fisher.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. What drew you to this project?
I was I would say in April, right as COVID hit in 2020. I lost a couple of friends, and it was just shocked at the way Trump was handling the COVID situation. So I called a bunch of writer, actor, director, commercial editors, and we started to try to write an ad to say, what the fuck is going on with our president, that he's not helping deal with this crisis. And we were not getting anywhere, just kind of striking out. Nothing was that interesting. And then I saw this ad called Morning in America in May. And it was exactly the kind of ad that we were trying to make, but we didn't make it. And I looked who made it. And it was these guys called the Lincoln Project. And I hadn't really heard of them. And then started following them and realized that these are the guys that I was kind of, my political active career, I've been fighting my whole life. So cut to, it's COVID. I have some time off because I'm on a TV show that's kind of shut down. And we heard that they were looking to document the 2020 election starting in the end of August, when all of them were going to come together for the first time in Park City, Utah. And Kareem Amer and I, my friend Kareem, who had just done The Great Hack, kind of pitched to them that we would like to do it. We raised some money, and they, for some reason, picked me and Kareem. Kareem and I met in Tahrir Square in 2011. He was making a film called The Square, and I was trying to help them with cameras and equipment. So they picked the two of us to film them, and we were embedded and thought it'd be a really great way to document the 2020 election.
And the Lincoln Project are mostly Republicans, or all Republicans, or
the eight founding members were all Republicans. George Conway was a lawyer. He wasn't a political operative. The 7 of them were political operatives, all part of the Republican Party. 4 of them had worked directly with presidential nominees. Yes, they were all. Then they galvanized a lot of people and groups together, and the young people that worked for them were all Democrats, which was interesting. So the people that worked in data and in communications were Democrats. They were also all 30 or under, pretty much. So it was a really interesting. We thought, wow, this will be a really cool movie. Originally, we thought we were making a movie to document. And I've been very politically active since I was like 18. And I thought, like, instead of just embedding with a bunch of like liberals fighting the fight, why not go with these guys who are like ballers and angry and doing things the Democrats were afraid to do, yet we're all fighting for the same candidate, Joe Biden.
Yeah, these are Republicans who are against Trump. And I guess it was successful, and they were on a roll for a while, and then stuff started happening. But
yeah, they were like, to be honest, a week before the election, we noticed some friction. They were talking about starting a media company, and some would be more maybe part of it than others. We noticed, like, the week before the election, there was some interesting infighting. We capture a little bit of that. Then what happened was the election night, and there's a great scene in episode 3 where you can see just on Steve Schmidt's face, oh my God, this didn't go exactly as we had planned. I think Biden will win, but I think everybody thought Biden would win by more. And I think they thought that some of the Senate campaigns that they backed would win. They went up against Susan Collins and Lindsey Graham. And a guy named the Alaskan governor. They went up, the Alaskan senator pretty heavily. The Democrats lost all those races. And then a week or so later, after the election, we just noticed things were, they started fighting a little bit about money. And then things started to come a bit undone inside of the Lincoln Project. But not only that, the country, obviously, with Trump refusing to really acknowledge that he lost, was something that they still had to fight. So we continued to document them after the election.
Is there a situation where it's kind of older than time, where it's like somebody's very wealthy, dies, and the 3 kids always end up fighting and suing, and it's like, and the rest of us go, my dad died. He left me a 72 VW Squareback that didn't run. You guys were left $50 million. Why? Or does it have to go down this road when something becomes successful and then money starts pouring in, right, and then personalities start popping up?
Sold or broken up. Or
yes.
whatever.
Does it just feel like tarnished, almost inevitable that it just ends up going down this road?
I think so. I think it's a human story, Adam. Like, what was interesting was, you and I being in showbiz, like we've seen a lot of people we know get really big, right? And their heads start to grow. And other than Schmidt, who was kind of already pretty famous, the rest of them, for the first time, were getting famous and getting, a lot of love. And a lot of celebrities were calling me saying, can you get to these guys? Can we do their voiceover? Can you tell them to hit Lindsey Graham harder? Everybody was trying to contact them. And you could see in the film and in real life, like they started to, oh man, shit, this is amazing. Like, holy, because when they started originally in January at their first speech before COVID, they thought they would just go on tour and make speeches about Trump and write little ads. They didn't know that they would turn into a $98 million super PAC, one of the most powerful super PACs in the history of the country. And it just spiraled. And as you said, yes, it is impossible to keep it together, I guess. But had they found a way to communicate to each other better, I think, they were a great thing to watch. They were a well-oiled machine. They together, they were really strong, and it was exciting to film.
What's the main challenge, I'm wondering, documenting this whole thing fairly, so to speak, when you're on the inside? Do you feel loyalties are being pulled in different directions?
It's a good question. I think what Kareem and I really chose to do was to not judge them, which is what we did at the beginning, because like we didn't really like agree on, like if you talk Citizens United with some of these guys, some of them agree that it should go away and some of them liked it. So like, there's issues that but you have to put everything aside. Just let the cameras kind of pick up what it can. Throw them questions when you're curious, but not try to judge, it is difficult, but that's, I think, our job. And I think hopefully we did a fair evaluation of them during this moment in history.
Do they have, and then it started to turn into some pretty horrendous allegations at some point, correct?
Yeah, one of the founding. So when we got there, John Weaver was one of the founding members, but he wasn't there. He had a heart attack, and we never met him. We never saw him. But what happened was that what comes out is that he basically gave the Lincoln Project a bunch of interns, and that he had a history of courting young men on email to give them work. Now, he was never there at this period of time, but a lot of stuff came out about John Weaver's past. And so a lot of it all happened before, obviously, we got there, and before it wasn't Lincoln Project stuff, but all these things came out about this guy, which were incredibly disturbing. And I have to say, I now know that not all the founders knew about these allegations, but some of them did, and they chose to not. Some of them chose not to deal with it, and others just didn't know. So I think communication is the lesson here. But now the group is split into three different factions. You have Reed Galen, Stuart Stevens, Rick Wilson, and Joe Trippi, who was not part of our movie because he started. They are the Lincoln Project. They're still making ads. They're still raising money. They're fighting MAGA. They're fighting not only Trump, but DeSantis, anybody, the election deniers. They're making ads, fighting election deniers. Then you have Steve Schmidt, who's kind of on his own, who's working as a political consultant for for some Democratic candidates for Senate. And, and then you have Ron Steslow and Mike Madrid and Jennifer Horn, who are doing their own thing, but they're friendly. Ron has his podcast called Politicology. So it's all kind of gone. But when we were there for the election, they were all together and they were firing pretty much on all cylinders.
I've seen the first part, and it really, really compelling. And I'm glad that you touch. Obviously, I don't think you could avoid it, but you touch on a relationship that I am so curious about. I think about it like sometimes I spend way too much time thinking about this, and I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on just the fact that Kellyanne Conway and George Conway can be together. Like, how does that even, how does that work? And I don't know, if do you have any insight on that? Because I find it
another element too.
Right, that's true. But I find those two together just endlessly fascinating. You think Kellyanne would be like, please, you've got to stop. Like, you're ruining, you're going to ruin me.
So she's as far right and he's as far left.
Exactly.
Right?
But very publicly taking shots at Trump.
Are they still together?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they're still together. And by the way, when we were filming, they may have been together. They may not have been together. I never saw it. George was very accessible, but he did not want to discuss his marriage or his daughter. And I do know that at the time we were filming, he was going through a lot of stuff with his daughter,
right,
and all that. It's a really strange relationship, and Trump publicly disparages George,
right.
And even recently, I think he still disparages George, and she still is supporting Trump. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the daughter was laying out all these videos when she was 16 about how she hates her mom or hates, I don't know, everyone.
Wasn't this like right after her American Idol audition?
Something. I mean, it is.
I mean, George is a really smart, I like George, and I love what he's obviously saying about the Republican Party. They've all left now, by the way. They've all left the Republican Party.
Every one of them. The core group. Are they Democrats? Are they independents? What do they become?
They're independents, most of them. I think Steve may have been moved over to the Democratic Party, but a lot of them are independents. But they are all working for Democratic. I mean, the new ads against J.D. Vance, against Ron DeSantis, against Marco Rubio are really fantastic that Rick Wilson is writing. And so they're still laying in and saying stuff that we all want to say. About these pretty horrific human beings.
I love when he says, I'm the first one to work a dick joke into one of the campaigns.
Now, on a different subject, Fisher Stevens, are you Stephen Fisher? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Actually, I just told this story the other night at a memorial service for my great friend Ned Eisenberg, a great actor who just passed away, who I love, we did a movie. My first movie was when I was 16. It was called The Burning. It was produced by these two brothers who were concert promoters in Buffalo, New York, named Harvey and Bob Weinstein. And it was a horror film. And my name was Stephen Fisher. Everybody called me Fish. That was just, my dad called me Fish. And I got there and they said I had to join Screen Actors Guild, and they said that I wasn't allowed to use my name because there's already Stephen Fisher. There was like 3 Stephen Fishers, one with initials. And anyway, so I ended up tortured and tormented. And Ned even came up with a name like, what's your mom's maiden name? And I said, Caddison. And I played a character named Woody. So he goes, you're Woody Caddison. Why don't we try you? And so he started calling me Woody Caddison. It just was fine, but everyone called me Fish. And then I came back to New York, and there was a sign over the West Side Highway, and it said Fisher Stevens Appliances. And then I was like, oh shit, this is perfect. So I actually called Ned for approval, and that became my name. But because everyone called me Fish, it was pretty easy. But yeah.
It's funny. I do know an actor who swapped his name first and last.
Who? What was the name?
I knew him as Doug Jackson. He became Jackson Douglas.
Oh my God!
He was married to Alex Borstein.
Oh wow!
for a while, and I don't know what Doug or Jackson. I can't remember what he's going by now, but he was Alex Borstein from Family Guy and A Million Marvelous Miss Maisel and all everything. They were married for a while. I met them both at the Acme Theater all those years ago out here, and Doug married Alex, and then Doug Jackson became Jackson Douglas.
It's a strong name.
Yeah.
It is.
It works, right?
And Ned Eisenberg was a great actor. I didn't know he passed away. Law and Order. I mean, a million things.
He had cancer. I loved him. I loved him so much.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it looks it's definitely familiar. So, other docs, are you now?
Yeah. Hold on, my kids are. Hey, hey!
He got up.
Fire!
Open a can of whoop ass.
Sorry, guys.
This is great.
Sorry about that. Home. Yeah. Other docs. I am making another series right now. And I know, Adam, by the way, we should talk about cars because I know you make a lot of movies about cars and drivers. And I made one on the Formula E circuit. And
really?
Yeah, electric car circuit. Right now I'm making a series for Netflix about David Beckham.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. And his story is much more interesting than I thought. Sorry, guys.
Hi.
I didn't.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Paloma.
Paloma.
That's a great name.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sorry about this, guys.
It's all right.
This podcast.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, that's Otis. Okay, sorry. Okay, give me 5 minutes. Get downstairs. All right. Oh my God.
At least they're cute.
Yeah, they're super cute.
Thank God they're cute. Stop. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Otis, downstairs, please. Carmen. Sorry, guys. This home, working from home is.
This is great.
This is awesome.
Formula E. You caught my ear. Is Formula E defunct now,
No.
or they came on strong about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They were going to do Formula E. And then they televised some of the races. They kind of got behind it. And they pushed it. And then in the last few years, they seem to have stopped pushing it so much.
COVID really hurt it.
Oh, okay.
Is what happened. Because, it's a live race. They race around the world. They race in Brooklyn. They race in Paris and Italy. The technology that is used in Formula E has kind of transferred into the Audis and the Jaguar electric cars. It was really exciting. We made the film 4 years ago when it was like, but COVID really hurt it. But it's a cool movie. It's on Hulu. It's called And We Go Green.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, that's good because the green flag. We're going.
Yes.
That's what the announcers say. We've gone green on Le Mans in 2018. Right.
Oh, no, only you would probably know that, but I'm glad. Yeah.
And Beckham.
Yeah, so I'm doing this film on David Beckham, which is much more like I was I love football, English football. I'm a big Liverpool supporter, and I didn't really care for David Beckham, to be honest. And I told him when I met him, but I did research and I just looked at his life, and his life was just absolutely fascinating. And his wife is kind of fascinating, and it's been a great journey. And that'll come out in September, probably.
What would surprise us about Beckham?
He hasn't always been hot.
The highs and the lows are like nothing I have ever seen in anybody's life.
Wow.
The lows, he was the most hated man in England in 1998 when he got kicked out of the World Cup for kicking a guy. And he had, kidnapping plots, effigies. He went through a lot. And it's just a constant life of up and down. And the other thing I really didn't know, to be honest, Adam, is I didn't know how amazing a footballer he was. I mean, he was incredible, So, I just think to see the life of a guy that started out in this little, in Chinkford, England, go from, his dad was a stove fitter, his mom was a hairdresser. She would have a hairdressing chair in their kitchen and see clients at night. To go from that to becoming one of the biggest global superstars, arguably ever in sport, and maybe, it's a great story that I'm so privileged to be working on. I love doing it.
At his peak, probably one of the 10 or 12 most famous people in the world.
Oh, sure.
Well, we always kind of count. We look at America, we do a version. It's like we got to go all electric in California so we can clean up global warming. Right. And it's like we kind of do this thing where, hey, it's us.
Right.
Like you would rather be the biggest celebrity in California
than the biggest celebrity in 10 other random countries.
Right.
You know,
Combined.
so we're very centric to our thing, but he's a global celebrity that we don't think in those terms.
Well,
sometimes.
he kind of made. I mean, Major League Soccer is still growing, and he's an owner now. You know, he's one of the only athletes that owns a team. He owns the Inter Miami MLS team, and it's just rare what he's done and been able to accomplish. He's only 47, and he's still like, people still know him. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember when he came out to L.A. to play for the Galaxy. What did he play for?
Yep.
Maybe a little past his prime, but it was a big deal and lucrative, especially.
Well, actually, the weirdest thing, which I didn't know either, is he came pretty much. He just had one of his best years with Real Madrid. And playing with the greatest players of the world, Zidane, Ronaldo, Figo, and he comes to the LA Galaxy that is, as you'll see in the film, probably one of the worst football teams that ever existed, except for one great player named Landon Donovan. But other than Landon Donovan, they had the worst team. And he shows up and it's like, what the hell is he doing here? And but he, even in LA, he managed to turn that around, to turn that whole franchise around. And his last 2 years, they won it all, and arguably probably the best team in MLS history, some would say, his last 2 seasons there. So that's what I mean. The lows and the highs, we take you through his whole life, and it's been quite a journey working on that. So
this is going to be a multi-parter, did you say?
Yeah, not that many, but won't be Michael Jordan, but it'll be won't be that many parts.
What is as a guy who's working on a multi-parter about K-Rock radio station out here, I'm trying to figure out what is a sweet spot? 3, 5, or is it just all about subject?
Well, the Lincoln Project first was a movie. Then all this stuff started happening, and then January 6th, so we turned it into 4 episodes, and then it just kept getting, so we had to do 5 episodes. And we would have liked to have done 4, but 5 is actually like one of my favorite episodes. So we needed, I think a sweet spot is 3 or 4. If you can try for 3 or 4, that's the sweet spot.
Well, let me give it a plug.
When are you coming out with that one?
Oh, God, I don't know how far down the road. We're getting pretty far down the road. I mean, K-Rock's great because it's got the acts, the musical acts. Then it has all the jocks, their crazy life. And then it has all the comedians, the Jimmy Kimmels and the Dr. Drews and the Carson Dailies and Chris Hardwick's and Adam Carollas and the morning show. And it's just, there's Kevin and Bean. There's just a lot. There's a lot to that station and the highs and the lows and, like we talk about. So I don't know. I could walk into the next room and ask.
You want me to go find out? Give me 10 seconds.
But, yeah, it's an interesting story.
How's it coming over there?
Yeah, and nobody.
Thumbs up they give.
Everyone out here knows K-Rock, but not everyone knows the story.
I really have to ask before we let you go. I would be so bummed if I didn't. Succession, like one of the greatest TV shows of all time, up there with Sopranos and Breaking Bad. I mean, truly. And I'm so glad you're a part of it. And we always assume, is it about the Murdochs? Is it about the Trump kids? It's probably a combination. But please tell us that it's coming back soon because we had to do a rewatch just to get our fix.
I think it's coming back I'm actually filming tomorrow, we are filming another season. I think it's coming back on in March, I believe.
Oh, fantastic!
I believe, but it's good. It's. I don't have a huge role, but I love it.
It's a good role.
I feel blessed and honored to be able to work with those people. And Brian Cox is just a legend, and Matthew and Sarah, and they're all great. Jeremy and Kieran and Alan. It's like a theater troupe,
Oh my God.
Theater troupe.
I was early money on Brian Cox from Manhunter, the first Silence of the pre-Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
He was such a kick-ass Hannibal Lecter.
And I liked him better than Anthony Hopkins. I did. But you could tell how good that guy was in 1987 when he was filming that movie. I was like, guy.
He is. I gotta say, I feel like I'm in acting class when I work with him. He is. He's incredible. I feel so lucky. I love Brian. I love him. You're right. I agree with what you just said though about Hannibal. He killed it. Killed it.
People need to go back and look at that performance. Much more subdued.
Yeah,
not a cartoon version of that guy. But
scary, terrifying in such a real way. I mean,
absolutely. All right.
He's incapable of not being real, Brian. He's just incredible.
The Lincoln Project's the name of the series, and it's on at 8 o'clock, and it's on Showtime, and you could probably just go back and start at the beginning if you haven't, but go check that out. And we'll keep an eye out for the Beckham doc as well. Good to see you, Fisher. Good to speak to you.
Thanks, guys. It was great. Good luck with your doc on K-Rock and everything else.
Thanks, Fisher. Well, let me hit Simply Safe. Thinking about protecting your home, but waiting for the right time right now. Adam Carolla Show listeners, well, they get a 40% discount. Best home security of 2022, says U.S. News and World Report. I use these guys. I trust Simply Safe. Stuff is sleek. It's ergonomic. It's easy to set up. You go online. You order what you need, your own custom setup for your own home. 24/7 professional monitoring, costs under $1 a day. Less than half the cost of ADT's professionally installed plans. Don't miss a chance to save big and protect your home. Get 40% off your first order or 40% off your order in general at simplysafe.com/Adam today. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes. That's simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe. All right, quick break. Back with the news right after this. We forgot, well, Chris pointed out to me in the first name, last name swap, Orny Adams was Adam Ornstein.
That's exactly right.
Exactly Ornstein Adam, but it's close enough.
And Alex Borstein, who we were just talking about, she was Borny Alexstein. So this name's better.
Borny Alexstein.
Anyway, so we have some breaking news, at least as we record this, literally right before the show opened, in a big victory for Kevin Spacey. A New York jury has found him not liable for battery on allegations he picked up actor Anthony Rapp and briefly laid on top of him on this bed at the party in 1986. The jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for just under 90 minutes on Thursday. Rapp appeared stoic as the verdict was read.
Oh, he was there?
Yeah. Spacey was hugging one of his lawyers.
They're both there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Rapp alleged that Spacey climbed on top of him at a party in New York in 1986. Rapp was 14 at the time, Spacey 26. Rapp, from, I don't know, Rent and one of my favorites.
He's great.
Adventures in Babysitting.
The follow-up.
That's right. Lee's good. And that there was a traumatic single event in his life. Spacey flatly denied the allegations, saying under oath they are not true. His lawyers argued that Rapp created the story in a large part because he was jealous of Spacey's success in the entertainment industry. But whatever the reason is, that one's done.
So no matter how many cases Spacey wins, it's still just going to go down. That guy molested the kids, right?
Had to be recast a bunch of times.
That's how we're going to walk away from all this, right?
Assuming all the Spacey stuff goes away eventually, I need more Spacey in my life.
Yeah,
tremendous actor.
Tremendous. Yeah. Oh, and in that note, in the corrections, Sarah Palin was never in that bikini. That was. They misread Funny or Die or whatever. So that was a Photoshop head. Right. So she was, they put her head on another.
Perfect
she
example.
Was never in that bikini, although that's what sorry.
That's how it goes down.
You are. That's how it goes down.
And that picture's hot. I remember it. So take the credit.
The thing that's weird about that picture, because somebody sent it me of the real picture and then the whatever, there's like a kind of weird guy smoking in the background that seemed like
I don't remember that.
They wouldn't be there. I don't know. Chris can find it. And the news story about the house on fire that seemed too much. Oh, yeah.
The fire was too hot for their bodies.
It's a weird way to stage. I don't know, not stage, but there's just some random guy smoking by pool.
It was weird.
Felt weird. But anyway, and then the smoking.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the fire.
Fire.
House fire.
News. We're all like, that can't be real.
Yeah.
That wasn't real either.
But what's it from? Do we know?
Episode of Louis.
Episode of Louis.
Oh, God. Let's hear it again, please.
10 people died in the Bronx last night due to a fire that killed 10 people in the Bronx last night during a fire.
Fire officials say all 10 people died due to the fire, which was too hot for their bodies.
So good.
Oh, yeah, that's Louis. All right.
And everything
So
snaps back into focus. Yes. And to be fair, we all said there's literally no way that's real, but we love it.
Fun nonetheless.
Yeah. British Prime Minister Liz Truss, who replaced Boris Johnson on September 6th this year, after he was forced to resign, she is now set to become Britain's shortest serving prime minister ever. It was 44 days. She announced that she is resigning.
Let's just force Scaramucci's.
When she came into office, she promised a quick turnaround in Britain's economy, but her plan instead sent the economy plunging. On Wednesday, she addressed Parliament and insisted she's a fighter, not a quitter. But with very little support from her own Conservative Party, she had no choice but to step down.
I don't know what she did to fuck up the economy, but
in a month and a half.
I've yelled about this 100 million times into a microphone. Is the economy, is it that much smoke and hokum? Isn't it more of a science than we give it credit for? The economy?
That it kind of runs itself?
Well, no, not that it runs itself, but what happens is every time somebody goes, there's fields of expertise, and Mark Garagos knows the law, but he can't tell you how a trial's going to turn out.
Right.
But he can sort of go, this is a good move. That is not a good move. You know what I mean? Like things like that. And so you'll have to go, we're going to put $7 trillion into it, and we're going to tamp down inflation. And then other guys go, that's the exact opposite of whatever you're doing, that's going to fuck it up. And then we have an argument about it. And then you go, no, I got the experts that say what I'm doing is the way to go. And then at some point you have to raise the rates because we're spiraling into a depression. Could we just turn it into a little more of a science?
I agree with you 100%. I thought of this before. If the economy was such a science, we wouldn't be arguing over it. There'd just be the answers. You know what I mean? Just a formula to produce a good economy.
I tend to think, printing up shitloads of money and flooding the economy, that's not going to work. And there's certain things that have certain outcomes. Like you do this and then you get that. And we've been around long enough where we've done this and then that didn't work. You know, like we did, we'd do a thing where we went like, look, we need to start giving loans to people who traditionally wouldn't qualify for a loan, so everyone could own a house. And then you go,
pretty A to B.
How do you think that's going to work, though? How do you think that's going to work out? Right. So, okay, that's an example. We did it. We tried it. Hey, our hearts were in the right place. We wanted people who made $41,000 a year to own $700,000 houses and join the economy or whatever it is. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I don't feel it's that much different than like homeless problems. You know, it's like we need to clear out some rooms at the Waldorf so these folks could have a place to lay their head. It's like, I wish. Yeah. I wish it would work.
To what end?
It just doesn't. We gave out $200 billion worth of fraud for COVID stuff. There are people in prison that were like getting like, could we just get a handful of smart people and go, this is how we have to do this. Yeah. Like this will work. Well, this won't work.
Isn't that what the chairman of the Fed is for?
Well, to that point, there have been good economies, bad economies, recessions, bubbles under this is reductive under Republicans and Democrats. You know, no one has the answer. I wish they did.
No, but here's what I'm saying. There are rules that apply equally to all things, whether it's your home or whatever it is. Like, you know, if it's we've maxed out this credit card, well, let's get another credit card so we can pay off that credit. It's like, don't do it.
You know what I mean? Like, don't
That's not
do
the way
this.
out.
This thing is not going to work. We've done that enough where we could agree that this is not a good way to go, and it's going to lead to more of that. And the problem with it is the chairman of the Fed is elected by the whomever, or I don't know, but it becomes a politicized position, and then they go along with the bad policy, and now we have this.
I listened to, I don't think it was Freakonomics. It could have been, but a financial podcast not that long ago, though I'm going to sure get a lot wrong. And they talked about how, like in the early 80s, you might be able to speak to this more, you know, when everybody was desperate, nobody had a job, nobody could afford shit, that was by design. That got us out of everything. And
they will pump the brakes by raising the interest rates and stopping it.
And that seems to be where we're headed, and hopefully it won't be as bad as it was then. But like you said, if we don't do anything about it, everyone's going to hate the chair of the Federal Reserve, but it's going to get us out.
I'm just
Sucks
saying,
for me, but I get it.
It's not quite diet and exercise, but it's not gypsy magic stuff either. There's many economists, many books, many civilizations, many good decisions, many bad decisions. There's precedent.
Yeah.
We could work on it.
Yeah.
We could have sounder policy.
Yeah. Well, the fun fact of this is the ruling Tory party, that's the Conservatives, they're going through their fifth leader in 6 years.
The Tories?
Yeah.
I love that band. What was their hit?
Take It Off.
Take It Off?
That's the Donnas.
Oh. The Tories?
Who are the Tories?
I think the Tories had I think there was a band called the Tories.
It's like a new wave thing?
Thinking of the Donnas? Because there were the Donnas.
There was a band called the Tories.
Did they have a hit? Did they have a K-Rock hit?
Before my time.
Ask Nate, see if they're in the
Upside
doc.
Down, does that sound right?
What year would that be?
97.
No shit. Maybe I talked to him on, was it a K-Rock song? Now we're going to have to hear it. Sorry, anyway. The Tories.
Well, while they look for that, let's talk some hot colon action from Matthew Perry. Friends star Matthew Perry nearly died from his opioid addiction, and at its worst, apparently, he popped a month's worth of pills on a daily basis.
I thought he just had that root canal before they shot the special.
That's exactly right. He opens up about all this and some like really gruesome accounts of busting a hole in his colon in a new memoir, saying his butthole had a new hole. That medical emergency put him in a coma for 2 weeks. Doctors attached him to life support to breathe, keep his heart pumping. He spent a year and a half.
Keep the shit flowing.
That's right. He spent a half a year in the hospital and another 9 months wearing a colostomy bag. Ugh. The book is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. He writes, the doctors told my family I had a 2% chance to live. I was put on a thing called an ECMO, which is basically just a Hail Mary at that point. He says he's glad he's clean and sober.
If I was a doctor, I'd just bump it to 10%.
No. Go the other way. You look like a hero. Buddy got 1% chance. However, I'm going to do my best.
I mean, he was already at 2. Apparently, 15 visits to rehab.
Wow. So he was definitely out of his mind in that Friends reunion thing.
Well, who knows when he stopped, when he got sober. I don't know how new that is. I don't know how old that is. You know, I feel remember, that was a reunion. That was recent.
Yeah, I'm saying.
So.
Wasn't he on something in that reunion?
He seemed out of it.
Did the Tories have a hit? Or did I just make up a band name?
I mean, they're an LA band. I wouldn't say they had a hit. I mean, they played on like the Magic Johnson show. Or,
maybe they opened for a band you and Drew introduced.
Their debut album is called Wonderful Life. Their first single is called Gladys Kravitz.
Oh my God!
You know who Gladys Kravitz is?
That's from not Three's Company.
It's there.
Hold on, it's the other one.
I'll give you time.
It's the Ropers.
No.
Oh, I thought it was the Ropers.
Bewitched.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Mrs. Kravitz.
Mrs. Kravitz.
Everyone had a nosy neighbor. I don't know what happened. And I had an asshole neighbor, many asshole neighbors, but not a nosy neighbor. The nosy neighbors would come poking around all the time.
Everything okay in there?
They would be spying through the window, and then Endora would like make Dr. Bombay arrive, and they'd go there, and then the husband would like come, and she'd run the next room like,
And she'd run the next room like, Charlie, you should have seen. Yeah, right, with the sports page.
And Mrs. Achmonic from Alf would be in this category.
Sure.
That's right. Sorry, we're going to hear the Tories?
Yeah, this is Gladys Kravitz.
But they sound good. I would have remembered them.
Remember the aggressive color palette of the mid-90s?
Yes. Yeah. Somebody, one of those guys went on to either like find Jesus Christ and like open a cult or produce Justin Bieber and has 26 gold records. They always break off and one guy does something or he dies in the desert and they never found his body. Like there's always something.
Some story.
Yes.
We got to find out.
Sorry.
Well, Andy Dick is back in jail. The troubled 56-year-old comic who has likely lost count of the number of times he's been arrested. He was collared last week in California for allegedly stealing power tools from someone's garage. Officers
He was doing that to sell them. He's not.
He's on a woodwork.
He wasn't putting a deck on the house.
He wasn't DIYer.
No. He's not Bob Vila. He probably wanted to sell those. He wasn't putting a deck on.
Right. Well, officers responded to a report of a home burglary and arrived to find Andy removing the tools from a home which was under construction. The owner of the home told cops he didn't know Andy and didn't give him permission to be there. He was taken into custody and charged with first-degree residential burglary. According to TMZ, he's still locked up. A week later, he's waiting for someone to pay
out here?
Yeah, his $50,000 bail.
Oh, I thought we didn't lock up people that stole stuff here.
Yeah, we do. Just the one. His last arrest comes 5 months ago. That was the last one when he allegedly hit his boyfriend in the head with a bottle.
Yeah, he's got to get sober. I mean, let's face it. This is all... You know, the thing about substance abuse or any, probably including alcohol and anything else is it's all pretty doable when you're 30. You still look pretty fucking good in your underpants.
Show up for work the next day.
You can still work.
You can rally.
You can rally, man, on 4 hours sleep. The makeup artist doesn't have to work overtime. You can do it. Your hair's all there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that good young genetics can overcome. But as you get older, you sort of lose your fight with the genetic part.
Yeah. And remember, because we showed like the live stream of when he was maybe a prisoner at that guy's apartment. Maybe it's just fucking bizarre. Like it's hard not to feel bad for the guy. He got knocked out, remember?
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy when he's sober.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamaica's broadcasting regulator has announced a ban on all music and television broadcasts that glorify drug use and other criminal activity.
Stop.
Yeah, the government says it's cracking down on any material that could give the wrong impression that criminality is an accepted feature of Jamaican culture and society. The Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica argues that music or video that shows criminal activity, violence, and drug use will normalize criminality among vulnerable and impressionable youth. The ban also says broadcasting channels should avoid using urban slang, which pertains to anything having to do with making money or living a lavish lifestyle. Artists have criticized the ban as an attack on free speech.
Doesn't Jamaica have bigger fish to fry? And isn't reggae, isn't that the thing?
I was going to say weed cannot be considered a drug out there.
I think it's quite the opposite. We need to look that up, but that is very much an offense. Like,
really?
I think that's illegal for sure. That's what I think the whole thing is. Like, it is illegal, and everyone goes there thinking it's not, right?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I stayed at the 007 Manor over there.
Right. Yeah, excuse you.
Crab. Was it crab? A custard? Oh, God. Who? Busby. No, wait a minute.
Broccoli.
Crab, broccoli. Yeah, I'm getting hungry. Broccoli. But, God, what's this?
Cubby broccoli.
Cubby broccoli.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Cubby was a nickname. It was
Thank
like
you.
Alfred or something.
Yeah. He has an estate there.
Well, contrary to popular belief, it says on gov.uk, it's illegal to smoke marijuana in Jamaica.
Well,
So
not if you're on a compound. Then you get left alone. That's why you should all stay at Cubby Broccoli's place.
Duly noted.
Will do.
We looked into how much that place was a night, right?
Yeah, I remember I thought the whole place was like
$1,100 or
yeah,
something.
but you can rent per room. You don't have to rent the whole compound together.
Yeah, went there on a man show. We
the Man Show Writers Retreat, and then the Man Show Best of Wraparound Location. That was the biggest excuse in the world to do nothing.
You guys went full Adam Sandler making a movie. Like, where do you guys want a vacation? Let's go to work there.
This movie is set in some tropical locale.
We want to go to Jamaica, and we'll stay at Cubby's Retreat. Yeah, that was awesome. Awesome. I mean, still, Jimmy and I had to do some work.
Yeah, you poor thing.
I know.
You write it off. You're familiar. I don't know if Natalia's into them or maybe was at one point, but like, you know who BTS is, right?
Yeah.
Like global K-pop sensation.
Taking care of business, one of the greatest.
That's exactly right.
Classic rock songs ever.
That's right.
Yeah, they're the K-pop.
The mega
yes.
superstars. Look
Yes.
at those wholesome fellas.
Yes.
So they probably are the biggest boy band in the world, but they've been ordered to put down those mics and pick up those guns because they have to serve in the military, and they're all coming of age right now. The agency behind the K-pop stars announced this week that all 7 guys will be performing their mandatory military service. The oldest, Jin, is up first. Apparently, Jin has managed to put it off for as long as possible, but they can't delay it anymore. He has to serve a full 2 years. South Korea requires men ages 18 to 28 to serve for at least 18 months. Jin's turning 30 in a few months, but he'll still have to put in his time. The other boys, they can't put it off much longer, despite some lawmakers asking for them to be exempt because you can exempt certain athletes and musicians. But BTS knew they'd eventually have to do it, and they'll pick up in 2025 after they've all served their time.
Do boy bands pick up once they put down?
Man band.
Those reunion shows.
Yeah, but I don't feel like they capture that lightning that they were carrying. But
I think they will.
I don't know how the Korean tax system works, but these guys are big time earners.
Oh, big
you know
time.
what I
Get
mean?
them on the road.
They're
That's
paying for legions of armies. Like, have them go sell out the Staples Center another 10 times.
Or go to the USO or whatever their version is. They could do military service that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many of them. I don't know if they're replaceable Menudo style, like interchangeable, but that's also another way to do it.
Hold on. Steve from the band The Tories is on line one.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Steve from The Tories?
What's up, Adam?
How are you? Somehow we got on to the Tories and we're talking British Labour parties or something. And then we got on to the Tories. And then I said, isn't that a band? And then people said, I think. And then I said, I can't remember. But the Tories were banned because we saw the video.
The last time I saw you, we were at like up in San Luis Obispo. I think you announced this. I think it was something called Polypalooza or something like that.
Poly goddamn Palooza, San Luis Obispo.
One of the highlights of your career, I'm sure.
I feel vindicated.
1997 or something.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, actually, I think it was 97 or 98. Yeah.
Polypalooza was there was a station we were on. So we had a thing. Loveline had a thing where it had huge market shares in like certain places, and Polypalooza, San Luis Obispo, or something.
Probably on KZOZ.
Yeah, they were like, you guys have an 80% share or something. Like we had all the listeners, and so they brought us out there. And we're doing our stage announcements, and that may have been the place where I introduced Drew's kids as Hanson, and the 18,000 people booed. How big was the venue? Do you remember, Steve?
It was outdoors,
yes,
and there was probably, I don't know, 1,000 people. Was it possible it was Sly 96? Does that sound familiar?
I don't remember. I remember like 3 affiliates, like 91X and Q101 and K-Rock,
I think, somehow we started getting played up there because of Mark and Brian radio show, and then I don't know, somehow we ended up doing Polypalooza and connecting with you, and then Casey the concert cow was a huge fan. Do you remember her? She was on for like 2 minutes on Kevin and Bean.
Kind of remember that, and you remember other bands that were playing that venue, that event?
Yeah, I think we were on with like Dishwalla, maybe Counting Cars or Counting Cars, whatever. I guess it's all so vague, man. You know, that was a lot of brain cells ago.
How are the Tories still around?
We are not. We went the way of the buffalo. Everyone moved on to bigger and better things. And but it was a great run, you know. And I run into guys like CC DeVille from Poison. I love to say, because they, you know, we were like everyone's favorite band that nobody knew, you know.
Yeah, I knew. It was in my head somewhere that there was the Tories and that I had known them more than just hearing them. So it was that Polypalooza thing. God, I remember that.
And we had a song called Gladys Kravitz.
Yeah,
we listened to it.
The nosy neighbor on Bewitched, and that was kind of our little K-Rock moment we had.
Did you guys get played on K-Rock for like in 97, 98?
Yeah, just briefly. It was, I don't think it was super solid, but yeah, we had a little moment. We had a top 10 MTV2 video for that song, and then our label folded, like all the rest of the labels that were coming and going, and people got fired, and so it was like, you know, we had like 11 and a half minutes of fame and fortune.
And what are you working on? What'd you move on to?
Well, I actually worked for a humanitarian organization. I mean, I did film and TV stuff. I was a Sony artist. I had a Columbia Records band called Avion. We had 2 top 40 hits. So I did a bunch more music, and then did a show with Christina Applegate called Jessie that was on NBC for a couple seasons, and then did a show with Selma Blair called Zoe. So I kind of fell into film and TV, and worked with a mutual friend of yours named Joseph. We've done some stuff together. So kind of dabbled around in the film and TV world, went to Netflix, and I'm actually working with an organization called Convoy of Hope that deals with hunger, poverty, and suffering around the world. So we fed 5 million meals in Ukraine.
Wow.
And about 490,000 kids per day that we're feeding in 29 countries.
I always knew you were going to go on to do something great, Steve. Backstage at Polypalooza back in 97. I turned to Dr. Drew and I said, that kid's got it.
Yeah, he's going
places.
Got the it thing, yes.
Well, we'll get a plug out if you want people to go to donate to the worthy charity. Convoy of Hope.
Convoyofhope.org. Been around for 29 years. Doing incredible work to just, we've got massive amounts of trucks down in Florida right now, helping out with Hurricane Ian. Just incredible organization that I'm super proud to be a part of. So convoyofhope.org. And, it's pretty fantastic. You know, the world has gone so crazy. I love listening to your perspective on what's happening in the world, because the world's just gone absolutely mad. Up is down, bad is good, black is white. I mean, boys are girls. It's crazy. And so it's fantastic to be a part of something that's just like sowing hope and love back into the madness that we are currently living in.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate the work you're doing. And good job, Max Zapata.
That was nice. This is an incredible coincidence. You guys remember my New Year's resolution for this year to do a different charity every day for the whole year? My charity, I said it to him, but it's last minute, on September 30th was Convoy of Hope.
Amazing.
Wow.
It was about their trucks going down and bringing supplies for the hurricane
That's
victims.
awesome.
Right. Now they got one more can of beans.
Look at that.
Wow. That's a crazy guy.
Yeah.
All right. What'd you do, Chris? How'd you find Steve so fast?
Oh, I was looking for a Tori's website, couldn't find one. Then Steve had an old website, where he composes and mix, and then there's a phone number. I just called it.
Wow.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Somebody has to say something, and that somebody is me.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, God, Polypalooza. I remember that one. Drove out there with Drew. I got to talk to Drew about that one. All right. San Diego, Mic Drop Comedy. That's coming up October 28th and 29th. 4 live shows there. Live pod and some stand-up. Wise Guys in Vegas coming up. And that's coming up November 2nd. Carrot Top's going to be there. Josh Wolf's going to come there, too. Rialto Theater, December 15th. Tucson. Just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. And the Lincoln Project. You should check out the series on Showtime. And until next time, it is Adam Carolla for Fisher Stevens and Gina Grad and Paul Bryan saying mahalo.